So I just finished building this desk from COMHOMA. It's an awesome desk and I want to show you a little bit about it. Now, before I show you this, take a look inside of my current office. It's messy and I don't have room, not only because of the mess, but because I have so many desks in there. I need to move things out. But even with that desk out here, it's only one tier. So the mess, I can't put it anywhere. I can't store things. This desk gives me a ton of options. Now, before I waste any more of your time, let's get to the unboxing real quick so we can take a quick inventory and then start building it and then see what I think about it. Let's go. So as you can imagine, for a desk, it is a big and heavy box. This is it. I'm just gonna go ahead, open it up. All right, and then just open it up. We're going to start by placing the feet on the side brackets. See the threading here and in the screw hole here. Piece number one. And we'll do the same to piece number two. Just make sure it's nice and tight. Then we're going to place the same feet on part number 5, the desk bracket. So then, using the side bracket and upper brackets 2 and 4, we're going to go ahead and slide them into each other. So this will slide into this piece here. Now, it's incredibly important to realize when you're building this desk, depending on if you're building left or right, I'm building on the right, that these pieces here, you can see that right there, here and here, are on the outside. Those same pieces aren't on the inside piece. This is where the supporting wire is going to connect on the outside of the case. So, building it like that, we're going to be connecting these two pieces here. So the two outside screws that I showed you are here, and you'll notice there are screw holes here and here and here on the opposite side. And that's going to be very important later on in this video. Now on piece 3 and 1, we're going to repeat the same thing. Here's the outside, so we'll flip it over. And then we'll make sure that piece number 3 has the holes on the opposite sides. So we'll just join them here. Starting with a connecting bar number 6 and the side bar we just put together, we're going to stick at the very top screw hole, screw A, and we're going to screw it right into here. Then we'll grab the other side bar and we'll do the same thing. Fit the screw through the hole and then screw it in just with our fingers. Now, making sure this is flush right here, we're going to screw it in with the Allen wrench. And we'll do the same on the other side. Nice and tight. And now with another connecting rod number 6 on this screw hole right over here, directly under that, and another A screw, we're going to go ahead and screw the bar in. And then repeat the same on the other side. Now we're going to go ahead and use the Allen wrench again. Like we did before, just make sure everything's nice and flush. Installing the sideboard 11, you'll notice there's little pieces of plastic here along with the bottom. Now you'll notice this one is facing straight up where the screw hole would be. If you found yours like that, horizontal or not aligned with the screw hole, the screw's not going to go in. Like this, the screw has a path to go into, something that might catch you off guard. Installing sideboard 11 into the desk, we're just going to go ahead and put in the screws using our fingertips just to get some threading and to hold it in place. Then we'll screw in the shelf on the opposite side. And once it's in, we'll go ahead and use the Allen wrench. And tightening it over here, making sure it's flush. Now we'll install board number 11 again on the bottom shelf, right along here. So again, we'll use our fingertips just to get a pilot hole there. Then same on the other side. And then once we have it in, we'll just screw it in, making sure it's nice and flush with the outside and the inside, just to make sure everything's nice and balanced. Same on the other side. And now grabbing another board number 11, just above the bottom shelf we just placed. We'll go ahead and place this one. Then on the other side, push that right into place. And again, now we're going to make sure that they're flush again on both sides, and then we'll screw it in. Same on the other side. Along the rear of the desk right over here, you'll find these two holes. They go to the baffle board. So we're going to place the baffle board right over here with these pieces of plastic facing out. And we're going to be using the D screws for this. On the other side. And then we're going to screw it in. And like usual, we're going to make sure it's flush along the back. Same on the other side. And now we're going to be using connecting rod 7. You'll notice on connecting rod 7, over here there are no holes, but then here and over here on the outer sides there's a hole. Now this is going to be facing outwards and it's going to go right in here. So we'll be installing that right here. And then right down here. And before you tighten it, just make sure that those two holes are facing outwards. And then make sure everything's flush. And now we're going to be adding connecting bar number 8 to that bar we just added over there using screw A. So we'll screw that right in here. And like we did for this bar, like we had the holes sticking out this way, on this bar, the holes are going to be facing up. And now we're going to be using the desk bracket here. We're going to be placing it right at the end of this bar. And we're going to use, again, screw A to join them. And now we'll connect the other connecting bar right over here. And now we'll just screw them in. And then we'll screw these in nice and tight on the other end. Again, making sure everything is flush. Now, one of my favorite pieces about this case is the surge board. The surge board goes right here, right underneath the baffle board, slides right in here, and then screws in. And then right in here along the edge. And now that we're here, we'll go ahead and screw it in. Just making sure everything's nice and flush and tight. And we'll do the same on the other side. So now we're going to put the desk board right along here, and we're going to match up these screw holes with the bottom of the screw holes on the bottom of the desk board. Problem is we can't put them in until they're on top of here, so I'm gonna have to lay on my back and work upwards. So let's do that now real quick. On top of the desk board, or board number 9, we'll find these 4 screw holes. We're gonna go ahead and screw in the F screws right in here. Screw them first with your fingertips just to get a threading. Then we're going to use these sideboards, or board number 14. We'll just slide that right into there. And we'll do the same thing on this one over here. Just making sure both face each other. And then here we'll install the cam locks, these right over here, which will help lock these in place. And then we can screw it in. And that'll lock that in place so you can lift the entire board. Then we'll do the same on the other side. Screw them in, locking them in place. And now, even though we don't have any screws coming in here, we're going to plug in those cam locks again. Make sure when you plug it in, you have the hole facing upwards so a screw can easily fit in. So like that. And do the same on all four. And now we're going to screw in the top board into here, but first we need to screw in these screws into these 4 screw holes, like we did before. And then we screw them all in. And now we were doing it face up just to get the screws in there. Now we'll flip it over and we'll push these screws through these holes right over here where we just installed the cams. And just make sure you do the same on the other side. And now we use that screwdriver to tighten that into place. So just rest it right here. And line it up as best you can. And now we have to work on the bottom. So now using screw B, we'll just screw in all 6 of these screws down here. And we'll do all 6 the same. So I'll do those off camera. And just so that you can see, all 6 of the screws have been added along the sides. All right, let's keep going. Now, if you remember those outward facing screw holes I mentioned before, like the ones here and here, as well as the ones here and here, now's the time we're going to be using them. We're going to be using them for the stabilizing rod, and then we're also going to be using screw C5. So putting that right here. Then the other one right here. And then we'll use the Allen wrench there again. And up here. Then using another C, we're going to place the rod right behind the bar over here. Screw that in. And then we're going to screw this one in. Then we'll use the Allen wrench. Then the same over here. And then we'll use an H and another C. We'll push the C through this hole and then through the other hole. And then we'll screw in the nut back here. Now using the Allen wrench and the little wrench right over here, we'll just grip it right here and then screw it to tighten it. Perfect. Then we'll drop the surge cable right through here. And then drop in the power strip. And then we'll use the included E-screws and we'll use the Phillips side of the screwdriver. We'll push this down, line up the holes, and we'll drop the screw once it matches right in here and then just screw it in. And right over here as well. Now, you may or may not use this mouse pad, but I think it is nice to have as a base. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach it. I'm gonna remove the 3M adhesive. and I'm going to match it as well as I can. Make sure you slide all the bubbles out. Thankfully, this is very forgiving. That doesn't look bad. Now, this comes with an RGB strip that I am going to be installing. They recommend you place it right behind here, but I'm thinking I'm going to remove this. I'm not sure just yet because I'm going to put my PC here, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. What I think I'm going to do is put it right behind the baffle board. That way light comes up and it shows behind everything. So I'll do that. I'll place it right down the center of the baffle board. I'm going to place it, the pin sticking out here and then coming back around here. That way I can plug the USB right into here. So I'm just peeling this back. I'm gonna have it sticking just a little bit out of there. Now this doesn't have to be 100% perfect because more than likely yours will be different than mine, but it's going to be up against the wall. And it's going to be sticking out just a little bit, but that's okay. And I'll bring that around over here. Actually, I'll keep it out of sight. So just coming down there. So now to connect it over here to the USB portion, we're going to be using this cable. This is the part that's going to connect over here. Now, over here, you'll notice there's a little arrow pointing outwards, pointing to this top pin. We'll match it to this side that has that same arrow pointing outwards to the first pin. And then we'll match everything, squeeze it tight, and then you can connect it, of course, into a USB port. Now you have a manual switch in case you want to, but you can always plug this into your computer. You can always use the remote that it includes in the box. Nice touch. Now, just in case you find this too long, if you feel like you want to make it a little bit shorter, on these little pieces right over here, you can cut them and that'll sever the connection without causing any kind of issue. All right, so this is what the final product looks like. I have it connected to the wall because I'm gonna show you how the lighting looks, but I just wanted to show you how that looked like. I think it looks beautiful. It seems sturdy, but I haven't put my computer on it just yet. Yes, I'm going to put my computer on top of it. All of my stuff is going to go there. So let's see how it looks like first off with the lights off. And now let's throw some RGB flare on it. That looks pretty cool. Now mind you, it's pulsating, but we can change it through profile number 1. Profile number 2. Maybe it only works when I'm talking. That was a quick one. Seems to only go by my voice, so that's kind of cool. Then profile number 3, which also goes by my voice. Kind of cool. Profile number 1 probably is going to be it. And then you can see off to the side over here how I had it come around. Looks pretty nice still. I could switch it only to red, only to green, only to blue, then yellow, green, blue, red, purple, and white. When you select this one, which I think also goes by my voice, it seems to, I'm not sure, but you can change the speed so that it passes by a lot quicker. Then you can also slow it down so that it takes a little bit longer and it slowly transitions. I like that one. Then you can change modes. I'm at mode 5 now. That one's kind of cool. And then going back to that previous mode, if I change the color, so far I've been able to fit my PC here. Problem is I had to take off the top shelf because it was too big. If you're fitting a PC in here like I did, your PC has to be under 17 inches. This one is 20.5 inches, so it's too tall, but it's sturdy enough and customizable enough that I could just move things around and it's still good. Now, the other problem is the monitor. So the problem is you can see the feet stick out too much over here, so it's kind of silly. This is only 7 1/4 inches, so it's too small, or 7 1/4, so it's too small. The cool thing is, since it is customizable, I can take this off. So I'm gonna take that off, 1 sec. So now it looks like this. Monitor is kind of big for this desk. I might have to buy a VESA stand and mount it along the desk over here. The feet have always been a little too wide, but I think this is going to work. So I just finished building this desk from COMHOMA. It is an awesome desk. We just went through it. A few issues, and we'll go over that right now. First, the instructions are horrible. They don't really give you a lot of information, so this build guide will definitely help you tons. Then after that, I feel like the desk should be deeper. So as you already saw, the monitor stand was 7 1/4 of an inch. Now, the main reason for that is the desk is almost 20 inches deep, which is good if you have a basic machine and a basic desktop. So you may not be able to tell, and it's honestly not a biggie. The PC is standing off a little tiny bit off of here, but it's a big PC. The widest PC you could fit here is 9 inches. This PC is 9.5 inches. So it's a little too thick to fit. It still fits perfectly fine, but it's going to be completely against the backing of this desk. The addition of the power over here and USB for power are awesome. The RGB strip in the back is a beautiful touch. I think they did a great job adding that, and of course the remote as well. Now, because my PC was so tall and so wide, I had to take off the top shelf, which kind of made the headphone stands a little bit awkward. I could have spaced them out a little bit more, but they still work perfectly well. I think for the price of the desk, I think it's a beautiful desk, and it offers you a bunch of different shelves so you can add more things later on. Not like my previous desk that I had to throw everything on it because I didn't have room. And now I can actually move that desk out here since I'm out here and I have more room for reviewing. What would make this desk a little bit better, definitely, now mind you, it's gonna cost a lot more if they include it, is a monitor stand. That way it doesn't need to stand here. If you have a thin profile monitor, it'll be perfectly fine. Or if you have a monitor stand or an arm that you can put out here so that it's closer to the wall or against the wall, that's perfect. You would have all this room on this desk for anything you wanted. Typing here, even though it feels a little bit crowded, actually is great. And the monitor still is not too close to my face. If I'm typing, I still can't touch it, so it's great. I like the desk a lot. Just those few things that would make it a little bit better. Number one, again, the instructions are horrible. It could be a little deeper. It could be a little bit wider. But aside from that, the material is great. Everything about this desk is great. I think COMHOMA did a great job with this desk. Iggy with ThisBytesForYou out. See you guys.